Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be making a Juice WRLD type beat from scratch. So I'm going to show you guys step by step on how to make these types of beats, from everything to the chords, counter melodies, to the arrangements and all that good stuff. So to get started, we got a BPM of 160. I would say anything between 150 to 165 is a pretty solid range for these types of beats. First sound we're going to use is a piano. That's a really good kind of starting place for a lot of Juice WRLD type beats, either a piano or a guitar. And I'm just using Dylan's piano, which is, me. I am Dylan. This is just for my one-shot kit, DaVinci. The more your chords and your chord progression are like similar, the more likely they are to sound good together. If I just go right here and line these notes up, and then if I just move this up, turn this into a major chord, so 3 notes in between and 2 notes right here, this is gonna sound pretty good. If you take a chord and you go down 5, so I could do this with either of these chords, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I just pull this over here, this is gonna sound pretty good as well. And then rather than making these all like kind of like the same length, a lot of like Juice WRLD chord progressions kind of have a little bit of a rhythm to it. That's a little bit unique, so I'm gonna pull this out right here and then just build another chord that's gonna be a little bit shorter. And then for this chord, I'm gonna do the same trick that I used up here and just go. That should sound good. Then what you can do is add some root notes, and what you can do is just copy everything like this and then drop it down an octave, but you can also like play with different notes. And I usually just go with the note that's already in the chord, so like that. And this sounds really static because I'm not playing it on the keys. And so what I'm going to do to make it sound realer is just go to Control A, Alt R to randomize, Alt S to strum. As when you're playing a piano in real life, you're not hitting all the notes at the exact same time with the same amount of pressure. Now I want to add like a slight change up over here. And then I want it to change up a little bit towards the end, so I'm just going to move one of these notes at the end up an octave. Let's add a little counter melody. And the reason I'm picking these notes is like this lines up with that, this lines up with this over here, and then this lines up with this G, so I know it's going to sound good. And then just adding these 2 little notes here for variation. Then all we're gonna do is gonna grab a guitar from my one-shot kit. How you guys doing though? You alright? I know I just asked you how you doing. You obviously can't say anything. But you know what you can do? You can leave a thumbs up. Now all I'm doing with the guitar is, boom, copying and pasting it over. Actually add effects real quick. Drive chorus setting from Thermal. So the sound sounds a little bit too dry, so I got this sound from my up-and-coming analog / one-shot bank called Duo. I've got this ARP from my analog bank copied over the exact same chords as right here, but I moved it up an octave and took out like all of the counter melody, just threw some halftime on it to kind of slow the ARP down, turn the volume way down as well because I'm using it more so as like a background texture. You don't want this to overtake your beat. Here's how it sounds. You can just kind of barely hear it in the background. And Nick Miro has done this on a bunch of the beats he's done for Juice WRLD, so. Watch out for me, I'm about some love. Alright, next I got this sound called Indie Cinema in Arcade. in terms of effects for everything, aside from when I use thermal, I'm just cutting out like the low end, because I think it all sounds kind of fine without it, and I kind of designed all these sounds to not require a bunch of effects. And I'm just using my drum kit Graffiti right now. So that one's right. Then I'll just go through each sound. Instruments usually go up to like about 15 or so. Make sure everything's leveled nicely, which it is. Cut out some of this low end. For everything else, just cut out the low end, really. No crazy effects. Turn this kick up a little bit. So just give you a quick summary of what I did. Just pushed out these hi-hats into different ears just because there's two of them playing at the same time. Gives it a bit more space. Then I also went in and for that perk that was hitting, I just panned it to each different ear. So it'll sound like it's coming a little bit more from this ear on one and then a little bit more on this ear on the other. For this open hat, I just spread it out a little bit. And yeah, here's how it sounds. Alright, so I'm going to just play the beat and walk you guys through the arrangements. These are really good tips that I'm about to show you, so just watch. That's all you have to do. Just for this intro part right here, not a lot going on. I introduced this kind of second part of the hook at the intro. This is a really good way to kind of introduce like your counter melody as part of the intro. I cut out these sounds right before it drops so you can just hear like the arcade sound playing. And then it drops into the beat right here. I did like a delay on the drums, so I cut out the drums right here and it's gonna be a pretty cool drop. So let me just play it. Here, I cut out some of the drums before it drops into the verse, and I cut everything out except a couple sounds, and then bring it back a little bit quickly with the drums. Add them right here, just one hi-hat, and and then it drops in. I took out a couple drum sounds. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I would just duplicate this probably, but thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Peace.